Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast. And this is another Asian movie Blu-ray addendum video. And this is the horror-themed one. I usually do one or two of these a year to catch up on a bunch of the horror movies that I purchased throughout the year. Usually like to do one of these in October. This year I'm doing it in early October to give some people recommendations and ideas if they want to add to their physical media collection with some Asian horror movies. I have a nice variety of industries here. Got some Hong Kong stuff, Korean, Japanese, and Thai. So, nice collection here. Good amount of films as well. I would say most of these will probably still be available, although some of them have been limited releases and maybe out of print. But I think we know a lot of the labels to look out for, which I'll cover some of them here. So, almost every movie I've reviewed on my channel already, either in a separate review video or in my Asian horror playlist. And I'll include a link to that in the description box below. And all the movies I discuss here will be listed in the description box below. So let's start with Hong Kong first. I think let's just start with a big one. Let's start with a big release. I've been waiting for at least a few years for this one to be released, and I wasn't sure it would get one. But it did. Just recently. I just got it in the mail this week. And that is, of course, The Cat. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The Cat is... This is kind of an underappreciated film. I don't hear people talk about it much at all. And let me get... I'm going to have to fire up some notes here, folks, because... some of these movies I haven't seen in a while, and some of them, I need to check for information. So The Cat, all right, this is a Hong Kong horror movie. It was directed, all right, by none other than Nagai Choi Lam, who gave us Ricky O, The Story of Ricky, amongst a bunch of other movies. And this is like a purely entertaining sci-fi horror cheese fest. So, do I tell you the plot synopsis? I will. I'm going to review this soon in a separate video, but I'll give you the plot synopsis. A novelist hires a dog assassin while investigating two alien-human hybrids led by a warrior alien house cat who steal artifacts in an attempt to stop a vicious killer blob with high-voltage slime tentacles that can transport itself inside human beings. So, go ahead and buy it right now. I mean, do I have to say anything else? This is a very cheesy, non-scary horror film, but it has a lot of sci-fi elements, some action elements mixed in, and some of the set pieces are really fun. I have to mention the dog versus cat fight. This movie has a dog versus cat fight, and it's like... They use the special effects when they need to. I don't think any of the animals are actually harmed in the making of this, unbelievably, even though it's from Hong Kong. So it's just like, this movie's a lot of fun. That's all I'll say. Now, this is the 88 Films release, which is a A and B region Blu-ray. And this just came out. Limited edition, slipcase, artwork, postcards, a 40-page perfect bound book featuring new writing on the film. Special features also include remastered Cantonese soundtrack, newly translated English subtitles, audio commentary by Frank Zheng, who is great. He does great commentaries. The Japanese cut with English subtitles. I didn't know that was in here. New interview with writer Gordon Chan, image gallery, trailer, reversible sleeve, etc. So, it still says 89 minutes, though, for the runtime. But, yeah, so this is very nice artwork here. Let me try to slip out the case. And then the case slips out and you get some additional artwork there. Now, this has, like, giant blobs that, like, kill people. It's got, like, action scenes with guns. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. Let me check the booklet at least. So look at Gloria Yip, look. Aw, with her kitty, her alien kitty cat. This movie's so ridiculous. It's just absurd. It's an absurd movie, folks. Oh, there's another great shot. Some nice pics inside. All right, let's look at the content. I gotta move a little faster, I think, because I could talk about this movie for like an hour. That Cat is Dangerous, a retrospective look at the filmography of Nagai Choi Lam. That's about 11 pages long. And then Body Horror, the warped cinema of Nagai Choi Lam. They've changed his name. Now it's Lam Nai Choi. I don't know why they change names like this for the English releases, but whatever. And you get cast and crew stuff. So this is a pretty neat book here. You get, there's my man Weiss Lee is the lead actor. Yeah, this movie, I mean, I'm not going to say anymore. I shouldn't have to say anymore, folks. I strongly recommend this. If you're into, like, cheesy science fiction horror movies, yeah. Yep, The Cat. This is one of my favorite releases of the year. I never thought we would get it. But, you know, with this director's other films being released quite regularly, I guess it was bound to happen. So, yeah, that could be my favorite release of this video. I'm not even joking. Although, the next one is kind of ridiculous. And I'm definitely going to need notes for this because I haven't watched these in a little while. But again, I reviewed them. This one I'm almost certain is out of print. And this is the Error 4444 Centipedes and Scorpions duology box set. All right. I don't think I showcased this. For some reason, I didn't cover it when I got it a while back. All right. But I believe this one has Centipede Horror and Red Spell Spells Red. And these are two Hong Kong sorcery flicks, animal attack movies as well from the 1980s. And I covered a bunch of these in my Asian horror playlist, and I also have separate reviews of these. And these are not my personal favorites of that subgenre, but they're both good and worth watching. So I guess I should cover the movies first, right? Real quick. I'll give you some plot synopses here. Centipede Horror is 1982, and what should have been a seal of protection turns into a gateway for hordes of flesh-eating centipedes. And, yeah, the human beings try to survive. I mean, that's your movie. It has a lot of creepy imagery to it with the centipedes, and centipedes are kind of creepy just by looking at them, you know what I mean? And there is some wizardry and spellcasting in this. Pacing is a little bit on the slow side, which kind of limits it, but it's a good flick. And, you know, the amount of animal violence in Centipede Horror is somewhat limited. And this release actually includes, I believe, it includes, like, what do they call it? Animal cruelty-free cuts that exclude all of the animal cruelty. And it's mostly like, in Centipede Horror, it's mostly like centipedes and a few chickens. So it's not that bad compared to some other Hong Kong movies. So yeah, that's your Centipede Horror right there. I liked it. It's good, but not elite. It's not, I don't like it as much as The Cat. Special features for Centipede Horror. Oh, these are region A, B, and C release. So that's convenient. 2K restoration. You get an animal cruelty-free cut, which I think is like 1 or 2 minutes shorter than the uncut version. Predicting Ultraviolence, Hong Kong's Category 3 rating. That's a featurette. Centipede Horror Censorship, which is a featurette. Trailers, teasers, and new English and Chinese subtitles. So yeah, Centipede Horror is pretty good. It's a good flick. Then you get Red Spell, Spells Red, which is a great title for a movie, I must say. And this is from 1983, Hong Kong. Let's see, what is this? Alright, well, this is a weird plot synopsis. I'll read the back. Well, it's the same thing. Alright, so you basically get a documentary film crew from the city, okay, plunges deep into the heart of native-controlled jungles to investigate a local black magic legend. So, you know, this movie has wizardry in it. You know, and these people just get involved with something that's over their heads. You know, you get a wizard that gets attacked by a bunch of men dressed in white, and as it turns out, the wizard was the bad guy, and, like, bad stuff happens, like a fallout after that. And you get some, you know, some good wizardry stuff. What else do we got in here? Spellcasting, death traps, and body ailments. Yes. And there's some spellcasting duels. This has a little bit more animal violence in it, unfortunately. It's 3 minutes shorter, the animal cruelty free cut. So, again, this I would rank similarly to Centipede Horror in terms of entertainment value. You know, it has some slow spots, not quite as awesome as, like, the Cat or, like, the Boxer's Omen, right? But it's good. If you're interested in this subgenre of film, it's worth checking out. Yeah, this one has very similar special features to that one. You get some featurettes, trailers, and a cruelty-free cut along with the uncut version. Yeah. Now, this has a lot of, like, bells and whistles to it. So, it's got, like, a ton of stuff. You get, like, little booklets here. I gotta be careful what I'm showing here. You get, like, little booklets. This lady's having a rough time. What else we got in here? Yeah, these are a bunch of write-ups in here. Tons of write-ups. Curses, Sorcerers, and Scorpions, Boiling Blood, an interview with the director, and some additional notes and write-ups. And then this one, that was probably the Red Spells Red one. This one, what is this? I got it backwards. There's a Centipede one. There's pretty cool artwork on these. Error 4444 really goes all out on, like, the artwork a lot. And, like, all the bells and whistles inside of the packaging. It's usually, like, pretty crazy packaging. Curses, Sorcerers, and Centipedes. And some other write-ups in here. So, yeah, a lot of, like, you get a lot of stuff like this in the releases from this label. There's more stuff in here, too. It's just, like, in the box circle, here's the back of the main box. So you get the Scorpions from Red Spells Red, and then the Centipedes from the Centipede Horror. Oh, it's just some additional slips and artwork in there. But yeah. Oh, there's this thing, too. Here's another booklet. And this is discussions on all the movies. And it's got a comic. It's got a comic in here. Probably a supporting comic to the stories we get here. And some write-ups on the film. So that's your, I mean, yeah, this is a pretty crazy release, folks. It really is. And the box is pretty huge. So, yeah, if you can find it and you're interested in these movies, by all means, I recommend it. But the, in terms of overall quality, I would prefer, I prefer the Cat and the Boxer's Omen, just to name a few. Or I should say entertainment value for the movies is how I should put it. All right. We get another one here. Here's another duo feature. This is released from Vinegar Syndrome. So it's nice that we get, multiple labels hammering this Hong Kong stuff. And it's great. I mean, this is like almost the golden era of Blu-ray releases for Asian movies, or close to it. This is just nuts. It's a little spicy. I'll flash this imagery here. All right, you get Devil Fetus. All right. And then you get Her Vengeance in a duo set. And this is, Vinegar Syndrome. Region A release. So let me get a few quick plot synopses for you here. Let's see here. Devil Fetus. Let's see what we got for the Devil Fetus. Great, a fantastic name for a movie, right? I mean, what more do you want? This is a Category 3 movie from 1983. Retroactively classified as Category 3. Man, the artwork's so controversial. I don't know if I could if I could show it. Why not, right? I'll do a quick synopsis for you. So, Devil Fetus, what do you think it's about? Devil Fetus, right? Young woman purchases a suspiciously phallic-looking antique vase from an auction, and it unleashes a lustful demonic spirit that does some bad stuff. So this is like, the script writing obviously isn't the strength of this movie, but there is a devil fetus that makes a few unusual appearances, but it's not like running around. It's not like Chucky from Child's Play, is what I'm trying to say. You know, there's a variety to the horror scenes, and it's good. I would rate it about the same as Centipede Horror and Red Spells Red. It's good. It's a good film from a very niche and creative subgenre from Hong Kong during a certain era, right? And that's why you watch it. You know, humans get possessed by this devil fetus. There's a green gooey monster at one point, and you know, there's a wizard versus possessed human battle. That's probably the highlight of the film. And you get some nice lighting. So in terms of like cult cinema, you know, it's good stuff. Special features. Well, I'll go through special features at the end because they're combined for both films. And then we get Her Vengeance. All right, I'll just show the artwork while I go through the plot synopsis for Her Vengeance, which I think is actually probably superior to the three films that I just recently covered. So Her Vengeance is a revenge thriller from 1988. All right, 1988. Directed by Nagai Choi Lam, who gave us Ricky-O and the Cat, and The Seventh Curse, by the way. And this was classified as Category 3, which means you get some pretty dicey stuff in terms of violence and sexual stuff in this. But she's a mild-mannered hostess at a nightclub, and bad stuff happens to her. She gets assaulted by some thugs, and she goes out for revenge. And that's your movie. And she gets help from Lam Ching Ying. So, I mean, that's your movie. But this is different. It's a little bit crazier than your typical revenge movie. You know what I mean? And I did a full-length review of both of these, so you can check those out if you want more information. But I recommend Her Vengeance probably a little bit more than the last few films I've covered, but it's not quite as good as The Cat. So, you get 2-disc set here, commentary track for Her Vengeance, all right, from multiple people, commentary track for Devil Fetus from multiple people, multiple featurettes, video essays, trailers, a different ending for Her Vengeance, which seems to be a little bit darker, and promotional stuff in a 20-page booklet. So here's the booklet right here. Yeah, I like these two movie sets. They're pretty neat. Resurrecting Her Vengeance. That's a write-up. The inside has like yellow coloring for the text, which is kind of neat. Yeah, looks pretty good. I haven't read this yet, though. I tend to watch or listen to the audio commentaries first, and then eventually get to like the books and that stuff later. But yeah, very good release. Do we have a different label for the next one? We're just on a streak here. Did I tell you the region codes for this? It's region A. All right. So here's another one that I would rate about in the same realm in terms of entertainment value. And this was, okay, we go back to 88 films here. 4. The Blue Jean Monster. This one, very difficult to... I was very surprised that this got a Blu-ray release. I mean, this is like obscure. It took me a long time to actually watch it. And I think I watched it on like YouTube when it was like uploaded non-legitimately or something like that. So this getting a Blu-ray release is kind of surprising. But it's a good flick. Where's the Blue Jean Monster? Come on. There we go. This is from 1991, so it's a little bit later in the timeline. Okay? And this one, a A brave Hong Kong lawman is killed in a shootout, but his body is reanimated by a Frankenstein bolt of lightning. And then he gets like jolts of electricity that increases his power, and he goes out for revenge. And you get Gloria Yip in this, who was also in The Cat and Story of Ricky, I think, wasn't she? Always nice to see her. And, our protagonist, this one, a bit of a goofball, and the humor's a little wacky. This is a little bit more humor than some of these other films. But it does have some fun fight scenes and stuff, because the dude is like, he could take a bunch of damage, because he's like a reanimated corpse, but he could dish out some damage as well. So this was a pretty entertaining flick. Special features are a little bit lighter in this one. You get, the typical spec type stuff, new subtitles, stuff like that. Man-Made Monster, an interview with assistant director Sam Lung. Trailers, galleries, reversible cover art. So we don't get a ton of special features with this one, but it's, you get it for the movie, mostly. Another real obscure film that we got a release for. I'll take it. I'll take it, folks. This is Region A and B. Oh, here we go. Our final Hong Kong one. Another 2-movie set. A lot of 2-movie sets here. This one is from Vinegar Syndrome, I believe. And that is The Seventh Curse and The Witch from Nepal. All right. And I watched these recently, so I probably don't need to check my notes, although I'll probably get something wrong. But I just recently reviewed Witch from Nepal. And it's got Chow Yun-Fat, and he, gets into trouble, and he's, destined to, fight these bad guys, and a witch from Nepal helps him. That's basically your movie. And Witch from Nepal is, it's less intense and, purely entertaining from its bombastic moments compared to some of these others, but I enjoyed it more after a second viewing. I did. It has, the artwork on this is sweet. But yeah, you could check out my full-length review if you want more details, but it's more of low-key of a movie, but there's still crazy stuff in it. Kind of hard to describe. And then you get The Seventh Curse, which, in my opinion, is made for its bombastic scenes. Seventh Curse is comparable to The Cat for me in terms of entertainment. I love it. Love it. And, let's see here. Let me look at more artwork here. You get Chow with his rocket launcher and a pipe. Yeah, Seventh Curse is well, I better get a plot synopsis for you just so I don't screw it up. It's just wildly entertaining stuff. It's from the guy Choi Lam as well. Yeah, and it's a... man, I really need a plot synopsis. 1986. An adventurer who's been inflicted with a deadly curse during a previous expedition to Thailand goes back to battle an evil sorcerer, his tribal army, and his deadly creatures. And it has some really crazy special effects. Tons of, wild set pieces as well. There's some little monsters and demons and stuff that show up. It's very good stuff. I highly recommend The Seventh Curse. And like I said, it's up there with The Cat. Witch from Nepal is interesting, but it's more along the lines of some of these others that we covered. Now, this is Region A release. And let's see here. Newly color grading. New commentary track with Frank Zheng for The Seventh Curse. New commentary track with Sam Deegan and some other guy that I never heard of for The Seventh Curse. So they get 2 with that one. Brand new commentary with Frank Zheng for Witch from Nepal. And then multiple featurettes and trailers. Yeah, so very nice special features on this. And the artwork's really cool. And then we get this booklet here. So if you've seen a bunch of these Hong Kong movies from like the 80s and 90s that are like, a lot of these are in a similar kind of subgenre too. Kind of like wild spellcasting, witchcraft movies, or movies involving like cults and like demons and supernatural stuff. So you get the supernatural sensuousness of Witch from Nepal is one right up in here. They consider it like kind of erotic, which, kinda. And then tracing the influences of Wisely, and there's a character named Wisely who shows up in multiple movies and stuff. So it's pretty cool. And I like the coloring inside the booklets too. A lot of write-ups in this one. So yeah, another really solid release. You know, got to be thankful for stuff like this. So again, of those Hong Kong releases I covered, The Cat and Seventh Curse are my favorite films within those releases. All right, from what I've covered. Now, what do you think? Korea next? Let's do Korea. This should go a little bit quicker, I think. Exhuma. This is one of the more interesting, I would say, South Korean horror films from the last few years. This came out a few years ago. I did a separate review of it. And this is when a renowned shaman, played by Kim Go-yeon, and her protege, played by Lee Do-hyun, are hired by a wealthy, enigmatic family. They begin investigating the cause of a disturbing supernatural illness. And you get Choi Min-sik shows up in this as well. This is Region A, Welgo USA release. And this movie is like, it starts off maybe a little bit familiar, but then it throws in something else near the midpoint that kind of threw me off, and I liked it. I think some people are thrown off by that middle kind of reveal, but I liked it. And I enjoyed this one, which is why I bought it on Blu-ray. Bonus features are a making of and a trailer, so pretty light on the special features, but this is a good flick. I'll probably rewatch this in the upcoming month. I enjoyed it. Pretty cool flick, I think. It does have some familiar elements, but good quality. All right, here's another one from recent years. This is another Welgo USA Region A release, and this one is a very different film, and that is Project Wolf Hunting. A super soldier extravaganza, says. While under heavily armed guard, the dangerous convicts aboard a cargo ship unite in a coordinated escape attempt that soon escalates into a bloody riot. But they soon discover they're not safe from the horror they unknowingly unleashed from the darkness below deck. This is essentially, you watch this movie for the violence and the gore, is why you watch this. Alright, I have a full-length review of it if you want more details. And I liked it, though. It's kind of like Exhuma in terms of entertainment value, even though they're very different films. This is one, it's like a popcorn flick, for sure. You know? And it has its positives and negatives, but I think it's definitely a net positive for this one. It's a cool little flick. You get behind the scenes, some featurettes, and a trailer. I recommend it. Ooh, here's one that just came in the mail, and it's an older Korean film. The next two films are a little bit older, from the 2000s. The last one is probably the tricked out release of the Korean purchases here. But this one, I'll probably be reviewing in a separate review soon, and that is Hansel and Gretel from 2007, I believe, mid-2000s. This is one, like, highly stylized and, like, visually really impressive. I heard it didn't do great at the box office, though, in Korea, which is a shame, because this is a good flick. When Yun-Soo's car is disabled in the country, he meets a mysterious girl who leads him to her storybook house deep in the forest. Trapped with the girl and her creepy younger siblings, he soon learns that all adult visitors are destined to meet a mysterious fate. So, yeah, this movie is pretty cool, and the story is very engaging. a lot of like really neat interior design for this house. And it's, it says Hansel and Gretel. It has some similarities, but it's a very different story. Okay. Any special features on this at all? I don't think so. Region A release. Media blasters. So they skimped out on the special features, but we do get the movie, which is very good. I strongly recommend this. It's a cool flick. I think I reviewed this in my Asian horror playlist too, if you want some additional thoughts. And I'm thinking about doing a full-length review later this month. And then, of course, we get the big tricked out release of the Korean stuff. This is the umbrella release of The Quiet Family. It's a Kim Ji-woon flick from 2003, maybe? Early 2000s? Oh, no. This is late 90s. This is 1998, I think. And this one's a cool flick, man. It's like Takashi Miike remade it into Happiness of the Katakuris, but he took a more wild and wacky approach. This is a little bit more reserved, but I don't know how I would describe it. More reserved, but tempered craziness. So you get this family in like a woodland area that open up like an inn for traveling visitors, but something happens where they don't get much foot traffic. So they got to figure out a way to get more foot traffic in. But the problem is, the visitors that come there die under mysterious circumstances. Like, they just have such bad luck, this family. And they just cover up the deaths. As people keep dying, they just keep covering up the deaths. So that, if people found out that people kept dying at their freaking, inn or whatever, they're really going to go out of business. So, it's pretty cool. And it's a very good quality comedy. This is a pretty dense booklet. Let me go through the special features, if they actually list them out here somewhere. We got audio commentary by director Kim Ji-woon and actor Song Kang-ho. I have not listened to that yet. Audio commentary with Pierce Conran and James Marsh. Interviews with the producers and actors. Some special features, featurettes, music videos, storyboard comparisons, and trailers. So this is, pretty decked out release here. This is very nice. Umbrella does some good work for their releases. I don't think the disc artwork is going to be any different. Oh, it is. It's like the original poster. Yeah, this is a Region B release, by the way. Region B. So if you haven't seen this, I think it's kind of a must-watch just because of the director, some of the actors involved, and the fact that it's just a very good movie. And it's a little bit different from stuff you may have seen before. We get some, like art cards, a bunch of art cards, and in the booklet here, it's very dense, and it looks like it's got a bunch of artwork in here and write-ups. Does it have a table of contents? No. But it has Kim Ji-woon's Quiet Family in terms of the whole write-up on the whole book. It's got write-ups on the producers and everything in here. So, very nice release here. So yes, I'm not even sure if this is available. They only did 1,000 copies of this. But yeah, if you have the means, get it. That's the Korean set. Alright. Now let's do Thailand next. And there's some big ones I got from Thailand. Let's start with probably the biggest release first. A lot of directors repeat here. This is all from the same directing crew, if I remember correctly. Alright. So the big release is Shudder. Alright, and this is the Umbrella release. So, very, very tricked out. It's got a real hard case that's real thick. And this movie is, considered by many to be the best Thai horror film ever made. And this was released in 2004. So it stood the test of time in terms of critic reviews and fan appreciation. But when Tun and Jane accidentally knock down a mysterious pedestrian, they flee the scene. But their day-to-day life has inexplicably changed. And this guy starts taking pictures because he's a photographer, and he sees like ghostly imagery in the pictures, and him and his girl are being haunted by a woman. You know what I mean? So it seems like a very generic plot line, looking back on it. And this is the 4K and Blu-ray set, and the Blu-ray's Region B. Okay. But yeah, it seems generic, but the quality is good. Like, it's got a good story, good enough characterization, and good, like, horror scenes. And it's just entertaining, like, from start to finish. Some cool visuals in there, too. And, yeah, I mean, it's a classic. It's considered a classic for a reason here. It's definitely one of my favorite Thai horror films. It is. Special features, audio commentary with Pierce Conran and James Marsh, interview with the directors, multiple special features, behind the scenes, and a trailer. Some of the artwork on the cover art is pretty neat, too. You get like more of a comic booky artwork there, too. So yeah, this is, again, it's another big one. If you haven't seen the movie, you should definitely check it out at least. If you can find it streaming or something. And we also get a booklet, too, here. And more artwork. These art cards, as they call them. The booklet, ooh, that's a good cover there. Yeah, the ghost in this one's pretty legit. So you get director's notes. Bunch of director's notes. You get write-ups on the film itself. I wonder if they do anything on the industry. Karma and the supernatural perspective of the vengeful spirit. So they do a little bit of philosophical and religious stuff here. Double exposure, which I assume would be based on like photography, a photography write-up. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you get some artwork in the back as well. Very solid release. Very solid. And a movie totally worth watching. Now, these directors, if I'm getting this right, would go on. And this release, I was really keen on. This next film was included in the Thai horror box set I covered a little while back. But I got the separate release as well. I kind of got it at the same time. So I kind of double dipped, and that is Alone. So Shudder was released in 2004, and I believe both directors came back to direct this. And this is like one of the more underappreciated Thai horror films. I like it as much as Shudder, but it's not talked about as much. So this one, Pim and V are a picture-perfect couple living their best lives after moving from Korea back to Thailand. Yet something doesn't feel right to Pim as the ghostly visage of Ploy, her long-dead twin, begins to disrupt her existence. And this one, I remember, the lead actress is very good, and she appears in a few of the other films from these directors, later films. And this is like more of like a thriller horror hybrid, which makes it different from Shudder. And I think the story is a little bit more interesting and different from like your typical ghost film. Now, special features here, interviews with both directors, featurette storyboards, multiple featurettes. You get Siam art and celluloid, a look at Thai poster design. That'd be interesting. Deleted scenes, an alternate ending, and trailers. And this is the Error 4444 release, and it's all region A, B, and C. So this movie's legit. It's very good. And it's another one, like if you're interested in like horror movies from Thailand, both Shudder and Alone are just must-watches. You have to watch both, in my opinion. All right? And then I believe one of these directors, or maybe both, I think one of them would go on to direct P. Mach, which is the next release from Error 4444. This one, I think, was a pretty big hit in its home country, and it's a good flick. I don't like it quite as much as Shudder and Alone. This is more of like a horror comedy, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah. In the 19th century, at the height of a dynasty that I can't pronounce, the people of Thailand face what seems like never-ending war. P. Mach, a veteran of the war, returns home with 4 comrades turned friends, excited to introduce them to his wife Nak and their newborn child. They covered this Nak story a lot in Thai horror movies. What seems slightly off becomes all the more apparent as Mach's friends begin noticing Nak's alarmingly ghoulish behavior. So yeah, they've done multiple horror movies, and I've covered multiple movies based on this Nak and Mach like legend of Thailand. And this is more of a comedic slant to it. But it's entertaining stuff. It is entertaining. If you want like a horror comedy hybrid. You get you get an interview with the director. Yeah, only one director came back for this. Feature-length commentary by the director and cast. Original featurettes, deleted scenes and an alternate ending. Casting tapes and rehearsals. Outtakes and more. All region A, B, and C. P. Mach. Here are these guys in the back here. Chilling. Good flick. But I do prefer Alone and Shudder to it overall. Okay, that's our little Thai thing. And now Japan. All right, now Japan. Should I do this in a particular order? No, let's just do them as I stack them on the side here. All right, this franchise I disliked the first time I watched almost all the movies. There was only one of them I think I enjoyed when I watched all of them back in the day. But I gave them a second chance, and I ended up enjoying a majority of them. And that is Tomie. This is only the first movie. I think the one I like the most is the horror comedy, Tomie Unlimited. But this first movie has grown on me. Like, these movies are... Let me give you the premise, all right? It's based off a manga. I've read the manga, and it's very good. It's very interesting and gory and macabre. There's a Junji Ito one, right? So, Tomie tells the tale of an evil high school seductress. And she can't die. But she drives other people to madness. Now, the premise is just phenomenal. And you could do, with a great script, you can make this like an all-time classic movie or franchise. But I always felt like the script writing really didn't live up to its potential, at least in the movies. I think the manga does a little bit of a better job. However, I do enjoy it because the premise is so freaking interesting. It mines a little bit out of it. And this has, the first film has this ominous like vibe to it. And the final shot is one of the best jump scares I've ever seen that doesn't use loud noise. So I was like, that's like my favorite scene in the movie is the final shot. And it freaked me out the first time I saw it. I'm like, ugh. But the lead actress is really good, as well as Tomie. Probably one of the best of the whole series, because they keep changing the actress who plays Tomie. And I like this movie now. I watch it on a fairly regular basis. It's kind of creepy, but it's really slow. It's really slow, deliberately paced. So just go in expecting that. And I did a full-length review of it, I believe, at one point. Or at least in my Asian Horror playlist, a mini review. So special features. This is the Arrow Video Region A release. Brand new audio commentary from Amber T. Brand new interview with the director. Okay. Brand new interview with actress Mami Nakamura. Brand new interview with the producer. Archive making of documentary. Trailers. Image gallery. Collector's booklet. Reversible sleeve. So again, very nice release. There's some really creepy imagery in this movie. There really is. There's one shot for you right there. I just wish, if they wanted to do a remake, and I don't like remakes that much, get a really good scriptwriter to do a Tomie movie. And it could be freaking awesome. If you really mind, like, the manipulation and the psychological impact of, like, being obsessed with, like, another person and willing to, like, kill people over, that, I don't know what you would call it, her attention or whatever, her love. It's really cool. So we get Tales of Tomie and Creeping Dread, which are write-ups, and this is 23 pages long. All right? This actress is freaking diabolical. So yeah, this movie has its moments and its high points. It just has those slow patches. Tomie. And some of the subsequent films are pretty good as well. Some of them are pretty bad, though. So, again, if you want details on any of these, just search the title of the film on my channel, and my reviews will pop right up for them. So if you want, like, a Tomie, an opinion on the whole franchise, I did a video on the Tomie box set, the DVD box set, I think, at one point. And then I did reviews of all of them in my horror playlist. All right, just a handful left here. The next one, very cool flick. This is a remake of Jikoku, which is a film I didn't really like that much, and that is the Inferno. And this was released in 1979. And this movie is really cool. It's the Mondo Macabro Region A release. It's, how do I describe this? All right, well, the film begins with two people, adulterous lovers, being hunted down by one of their, the husband of one of them. They're killed, but the woman gives birth to her daughter before she dies. And she's considered to have been born in hell because her mother was dead when she gave birth to her. And then 20 years later, this girl grows up and crazy stuff starts happening. And this is more of like a movie about fate. You know what I mean? Like, can you escape your fate to end up in hell? And that's the premise. And it's almost structured almost like a fantasy where someone tries to avoid their fate of going to hell. So it's a really cool premise. There's like some occult stuff in here, and I actually strongly recommend this movie. If you want a Japanese horror movie that goes under the radar, but it's really good quality, and from the 1970s. Not a lot of special features. Some interviews. Oh, an interview with Koji Shiraishi's on here, who's a more recent horror director, but he must give his thoughts on this film. I should watch that. I'd be interested to hear what he says. I love that guy. And some new artwork. Good stuff. The Inferno. Oh, here's another one. I don't know how we're getting releases for this stuff, folks. This is another one. I have no idea how or why they released this, but I'm happy. And this is the Error 4444 release of Egg. Now, I watched this movie because I blind bought it while in Japan like 15 years ago. I blind bought this at like a DVD shop. And I didn't know it was directed by Yukihiko Tsutsumi, I believe. I believe he's the one who directed this. And it's like, I watched it without subtitles, and it was really neat. Very weird movie, though. It's about this woman who has, like, a mixed ancestry, if I remember correctly. And she sees, when she closes her eyes, she sees an egg. They don't really show it in here. They show a piece of the egg on top there. This is what she sees in her mind when she closes her eyes. And eventually the egg hatches. And, like, this monster is inside of her, making her go crazy. And she's trying to find a resolution to this problem. This is a low-budget cult movie, but it's got some really cool visuals to it. And fun special effects. The lead actress is quite fun to watch as well. And it has a little bit of comedy in it. and some very weird plot turns, man. So I know some people don't like this as much as I do. But I like it because it's like creative and different, and has some really cool visuals. You get an interview with the director, Yukihiko Tsutsumi, archival interview with the director and the VFX artist, video essays on cultural expectations, trailers, and new subtitles. This is cool. Egg. I would say, man, if you could find it online first, because this one's a little bit more divisive in terms of whether or not people like it. So I've given a recommendation, but not as strongly as like the Inferno. I think Inferno's your priority right now. Okay. All right, now this is one, it took me a long time to buy this Blu-ray. It's not one of my favorite Hideo Nakata movies, but when I look back on it, it's real good quality stuff. I always consider it to be like a good Japanese horror movie that was part of, putting Japan on the map internationally. And what I'm talking about, of course, is Dark Water. And this is one that has a very good dramatic core to it. But I prioritize entertainment value. And so I enjoy, like, say, what's a good example? Something like Tag from Shion Sono over this. Just because, I like the purely entertaining stuff. But this is a good flick, and it is entertaining. So you get, after terrifying audiences worldwide with Ring, Nakata returned to the genre with Dark Water, based on a short story from Koji Suzuki. A single mother, struggling to win sole custody of her only child, moves into a new home and begins to experience startling visions from a spirit. And the dramatic impact of this movie is legit. And you really get behind this woman because she's struggling, financially and like with her family and everything. So this is probably one of the better examples of a Japanese horror movie where the core drama supports the horror really freaking well. If you haven't seen it, this is considered like one of the cornerstone films of like contemporary Japanese cinema. Special features. This is the Arrow release, Region A and B. Special features. Ghosts, Rings, and Water. Brand new interview with the director Hideo Nakata. Brand new interview with Koji Suzuki. Brand new interview with cinematographer Junichiro Hayashi. Archive interviews with the actresses. Making of documentaries, trailers, and a reversible sleeve. Yeah, so, there's not a whole lot to see in the middle here, but yeah, this is a good flick. Good quality Japanese horror from early 2000s. All right, here's one from the 2010s that goes under the radar. And premise is really cool. Now, I might do a full-length review of this, and that is Bilocation. Bilocation. I think from 2013. And this director is very good. Her name escapes me, but she did some other really good flicks. You could check my Asian horror playlist. I discuss her when I review this movie in there. She have a woman painter is accused of using counterfeit money. She's confused because she never uses counterfeit money. But a police officer who's actually kind of like he works for like a secret organization, contacts her. And he explained to her about the existence of bilocations, which are doppelgangers, or a certain form of doppelganger. And she tries to solve this. She tries to prevent this doppelganger from ruining her life. All right? And that's your premise. Now, this movie is a bit slower paced, but the storyline is incredibly detailed. And when you get to the second half, like, this is one of those movies where you're going to have to watch it twice within a fairly short period of time to see if everything makes sense. And I think it does. There's a lot of detail. And some of the twists in this and the plot turns are like crazy. So I really, and a lot of detail and nuance to it as well. So this is one you want to bring your brain to this one a little bit, you know, and pay attention to things as they're happening and follow it. This doesn't have big set pieces, but like it's just consistently intriguing is how I would describe it. So if you want a Japanese horror movie / thriller that's mind-bending and it'll make you think, and a lot of people haven't seen, check out Bilocation. Not a lot of special features here, though. Oh, there is one. It's a featurette called Another Ending, and then, oh, there's a separate ending, and then a trailer. All right, we're getting, again, some obscure stuff here, folks. This is the next two, I think, that I'm covering are very obscure. Yeah. All right. So I bought this one on Yes Asia. This is, I don't know, it's just the Japanese release. But it has English subtitles, I believe. I think it does. And that is, it's called Poison Girl. All right, Poison Girl. Now, this is from director Eisuke Naito. I probably should do a full-length review of this, because I am a big fan of this guy. He did, again, off the top of my head, he did Puzzle, which was really good. Oh, man. What else did he do? I'm losing my mind, folks. Eisuke Naito. I'm missing some big ones, guys. Let's see here. The Crone, which is cheesy nonsense. Oh, Liverleaf was another big one he did. Yeah, and this one is a more recent one. It's from last year or 2 years ago. Poison Girl. And I gotta check my notes on this one, unfortunately, here. Okay. It's also called Toxic Daughter. How do I describe this? Alright, so a woman, along with her husband and daughter, move into a pre-owned detached house. Alright? She rushes home one day and sees her house in ruins. And there's a girl in there with a pair of scissors. And it's a girl who used to live in the house. And her presence exposes the poison that the family members are trying to hide. So you get like, it's a film about a weird girl who plays people against each other and that type of thing. And I remember it being good. But I gotta like rewatch it again. I think when I watched this, I was like, let's just say it was a long night. And I was maybe a little buzzed from some booze and stuff after partying. So I was kind of half paying attention. But I remember being good and interesting with some interesting yellow visuals. There was a emphasis on yellow lighting. And I remember it being a good new addition to Naito's filmography. But I'll watch it again more diligently and get a review up at some point in the near future, because I think it deserves some love. And I'm pretty sure this had English subtitles to it, the Japanese release. All right? This is the DVD, Region 2. Always nice to see him release a new movie, because I thought he was moving away from horror, which would be bad. He needs to keep making horror movies, folks. If you have not seen Puzzle or Liverleaf, watch them this month, okay? Here's another one. I've never even heard of this movie. This one I bought while in Japan. I took a recent vacation. I went to they still have some Blu-ray shops there. I went to a little Blu-ray shop, cult horror shop. And I bought Baby Assassins 3. And then I bought this. And let me double check. I think this is from, I gotta reconfirm this. Shozen Fukui. Yeah. So this guy, the director of this one, directed Rubber's Lover and 964 Pinocchio, I believe. Now, obviously, Rubber's Lover's way better than 964 Pinocchio. But this movie's called Difficulty Breathing. Never heard of it. Released in the late 2010s, 2017, I think. This is only... Man, is it only 40 minutes long? Was it really only 40 minutes long? Where's my notes on this, folks? I'm sure I have notes on this. I watched it. Oh, here we go. Alright, so, subject of a violent attack, a young woman becomes a recluse, and her fear of leaving home escalates and her paranoia runs wild, and she goes insane. Right? From the director of Rubber's Lover, only 40 minutes long, very low budget. Very low budget. But it's anxiety-inducing and psychologically intense, and the ending is something else. Alright? The ending is impactful. So yeah, I don't know who released this. I have no idea. I don't even know what region it is. I have no freaking idea. Oh well. I mean, I got it into some cult shop in Japan. I'm pretty sure this is an official release, though. Oh, there's actually a making of Difficulty Breathing. Behind the scenes, photo gallery, some thoughts, doodle to screen comparison, and trailers. This is definitely a legit release, and it had some English subtitles, I think. So if you're interested, if you like this director and you could somehow find this, I would recommend it, but you gotta really be into, like, micro-budget horror, alright? It mostly takes place in one, like, apartment. But I liked it. Alright, last two. Which one do I do first? Alright. Let's do Toshihiro Ikeda, Mermaid Legend. Again, I've been hoping for years we would get a release of this. And I think we got two. Third Window Films released it, and Error 4444 released it. And this is, in my opinion, Toshihiro Ikeda's best movie. I love Evil Dead Trap, of course, and some of his other stuff is good as well. But Mermaid Legend, I think, is his best film, pound for pound, I think, in my opinion. A woman, framed for murder of her fisherman husband, seeks vengeance on the corrupt businessman who had a hand in his death. And I have a separate review of this, I believe. I'm almost certain I did. Because I think I bought the Japanese Blu-ray a while back, so I had to double dip for this one. But this movie's great. It's like really cool story progression. There are some bloody acts of violence in it, but not as over the top as Evil Dead Trap. It's more like story-based, and the ending, I mean, this is one of the best endings of like a Japanese horror film. It's kind of like a thriller horror, kind of. The ending in this is amazing. So, this is A, B, and C region. Error 4444 release. Interview with the writer. Audio commentary by Jasper Sharp and Tom Mess. Video essays. Trailer and New English subtitles. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if the Third Window Films release has the same special features or not. But if you have not seen Mermaid Legend, I strongly recommend this movie. And it was made in the 80s, too. So it's another Japanese flick from the 80s that I never thought would get a Blu-ray release. And here we are. It's good times, folks. This is good times. And now we get the final release from Umbrella. I had a few Umbrella releases here. And it's one of my favorite Japanese horror films of all time, of course. This was included in the J-Horror Rising set, but the special features are very different in this. And this is, of course, Noroi, The Curse from Koji Shiraishi. This is the Region B release. Alright. A prominent paranormal journalist, Kobayashi, goes missing shortly after completing a documentary. And they show us the documentary. This is documentary style. And it's my favorite documentary style horror film and one of my favorite Japanese horror films ever. And it's the reason why, I mean, I've discussed this multiple times on this channel, but it's the world building and mythos building in this movie is just awesome. There's just so much detail to the investigative aspects. And it's creepy it's really creepy imagery as well. Special features, audio commentary by Tomie, interview with Koji Shiraishi, Alexandra Heller-Nicholas talks about things in a special featurette, another interview with Koji Shiraishi, interview with producer Takashige Ichise, who's big-time producer out there, and then Tom Mess on modern J horror, and some trailers. So yeah, obviously here's another one that I would highly recommend this. If you have not seen Noroi, you have to watch it. You have to. It's freaking great. So yeah, we're in good times here, folks, for sure. Some unbelievable releases. I mean, high priorities, I think you should know, right? I think I kind of listed out the high priorities, but let me go through them here. Obviously, Noroi the Curse, you gotta watch it. Any means necessary. Mermaid Legend, high priority. Obviously, you're interested in any of the directors. Check them out. I would say the Inferno, I would rate as a higher priority as well, from kind of that batch. Shudder and Alone for the Thai stuff. I'm going to say The Cat is a high priority. If you like cheesy movies, that's a high priority. Seventh Curse, if you like cheesy movies. And then the Korean stuff, The Quiet Family, and maybe Hansel and Gretel. So, yeah. By all means, folks. What are you watching this month? Are you going to buy anything this month on physical media? And if not, just tell me what you're going to watch. It's horror season. You know, we're going to watch a bunch of horror movies. Hopefully some Asian ones you'll watch. And it's good times. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.